Pokémon Champions is going to be an absolute game changer for the competitive scene. My name is The Battle Room, and today I'm joined by my good friend Raghav. As professional VGC players, we wanted to break down the features that we need from Pokémon Champions.
Before we get into the video, please hit like and subscribe. It's been cold this week, and it helps keep the heat running in the battle room.
The first thing we'd love to see in Pokémon Champions is some sort of replay system. Back when I started playing this game in 2011, in Black and White there was an item known as the Versus Recorder. It would allow you to record and save one game to the item, and you'd be able to watch it as many times as you wanted. This continued to be put in every single Pokemon game up until Sword and Shield, where unfortunately the Versus Recorder was no more. The benefits of a replay system are immense. Obviously you can show your friends, post it on YouTube, but what I think could be a really cool and amazing feature is if you're able to save more than one battle, you could record entire tournament runs. There are so many tournament matches that I'd love to see between high-profile players, but unfortunately, they're just lost to time. But with a replay system, we could see almost every set from almost any tournament as long as the players recorded it, and it would be an immense competitive resource for all players alike. If you ever wanted to see a specific tournament run with how a certain player used the team, something like this replay system could be invaluable, especially if there is some sort of database in Pokémon Champions to be able to search through replays or just post them publicly. I think this could be an amazing resource to be had.
Additionally, replays are already an essential tool for every competitive player. It's super important for practice, just to see where you went wrong. Like, as a competitive player, I think replay analysis has been the single most influential factor in my success. And I can say the same for Colin. Being able to see where you went wrong, or even just revising your game plan into a specific matchup, is critical. If Pokemon Champions has a replay system, it really helps it become the primary place to practice.
Another feature I'd love to see is Spectator mode. This was a feature that we had in Pokemon Sword and Shield, and it was used at almost every single in-person tournament. It displayed all the information, HP numbers, Trick Room turns, anything you could ask for was displayed perfectly on the screen for the viewer to see, and it was deeply missed in Scarlet and Violet, as we only had it for World Championships.
In official tournaments, I think a Spectator mode would be beneficial for both veterans and casuals alike. What we have right now shows the player literally inputting their plays, and it spoils everything for everyone. It would be significantly better to have an official Spectator mode with the information displayed like Colin mentioned. What would be particularly lit is if we can join matches live. Let's say Colin's laddering and he shows up on my friends list. I could see him battling the fabled Muck Smeargle and struggling to even hit the... Overall, I just think it would be a really fun feature and a useful one too. It just makes the viewing experience so much better.
One feature I hope they do not remove in Pokemon Champions is rental teams. Rental teams were introduced in Pokemon Sword and Shield, and the world was never the same. Rental teams are incredible for new players, as team building is probably one of the scariest and most daunting things in all of competitive Pokemon. And rental teams, they completely bypass this. There's also that feeling of safety, knowing that you're using a top player's team instead of trying to make your Mr. Rhyme team work for the 30th time.
However, I do worry about this clashing with the new way of obtaining Pokemon. In Champions, you're going to use the in-game currency to buy Pokemon, and I know how capitalism works. They're not giving us shit for free. But maybe there's a way to still have rental teams. Perhaps if you already have the Pokemon, it assembles the team for you. Or maybe there's a literal rental system where you can try the team for, let's say, like 30 ladder games to see if it's clicking or not. At the end of the day, rental teams are just such a net positive for the community that I really hope they stick around.
Next, we have rotating formats. Let's take a little trip to 2019 when they first introduced them to VGC with Sun, Moon, and Ultra Series. At the time, the Sun Series was just nothing. There was no gimmicks, no megas, no Z moves. Then the Moon Series added Z moves. And then finally, the last format unleashed all the mechanics in pure chaos. Now, obviously, rotating formats have been a staple in Scarlet and Violet and in Sword and Shield. Roughly every 3 months, we change format to some new concoction that they've designed. Usually it is quite predictable, and I expect that to remain the same in Champions.
Now, we already know the game is going to come preloaded with megas, but maybe they're not going to give us all of them at once. Kind of like they did with Regulation A, B, and C, maybe they're going to drip feed us some megas here. And at some point, Pokemon Champions is going to have every Pokemon in the game, and kind of like Regulation H, maybe they'll strip it back. They'll eliminate legendaries, or just install certain rules to make the game fun again. Overall, I think this could have the potential to keep the game interesting, because at a certain point, it gets stale, and we really don't want repeats, because I am sick of Regulation F, and maybe rotating formats consistently in a creative way will keep the game competitive and fun.
Another really cool feature that we could potentially see in Pokemon Champions is, of course, balance patches. Now, if you've played any live service game, whether it's Overwatch, Fortnite, League of Legends, you've experienced balance patches. The developers are able to nerf or buff characters, or in this case Pokemon, anytime they feel like it. And now we've had our fair share of buffs and nerfs in competitive Pokemon, but they usually take place in between generations. Famously, after Sword and Shield moving into Scarlet and Violet, both Zacian and Zamazenta were both nerfed. Their ability could only activate one time in battle when they came out the first time, so you couldn't just switch Zacian in and out or Zamazenta and just continuously get their +1 in attack and defense respectively. If you look even further back, we've seen nerfs to Pokemon like Kangaskhan, where its parental bond was nerfed from 1.5 to 1.3, or Reggieleki's ability being nerfed. We have also seen some stat buffs as well. As time went on, some Pokemon have got increased stats just to give them a little bit more of a chance at viability. So I'm very curious to see if something like this could take place in Pokemon Champions. Obviously, balance patches are a thing in every game, so why not here? Why can't we see our Shifu changed or modified? Why can't we see Incineroar lose, maybe 10 in each defense, right? Things like that could really shake up a format and a metagame, and I'm very curious to see if they implement some sort of balance patches in between different regulations. They definitely have the capability and now the means to potentially completely shift or alter metagames if a Pokemon is too dominant or too weak. And finally, we have the Battle Box locking. We've had the Battle Box in Pokemon since Generation 5, and for some reason in Scarlet and Violet, outside of GCs, the Battle Box just doesn't lock in official tournaments, and that's something I'd like to see return, just for the logistical sense.
It may seem like a small thing, but it would make our lives a lot easier. We don't have to deal with team sheets or cheating, or even just like unfair rule judgments. I think having a locked battle box would get rid of all of that and make life easier for every competitive player. Colin and I are so excited for Pokemon Champions, and this is what we came up with. Please let us know what you want to see in the games, and we'll see you next time.